Let me blow your mind one more time, please. Okay, I have made certain choices. I have learned a couple of 100,000 words. I can also choose to just make a short video. On fumes and can. Wait, is that the one I was doing? Wait, is that the one I was doing? Is that the one I was doing? I think it has been. I'm going to start doing crochet again. I was really sure I was going to do crochet again. What? No, that's not what I wanted to say. We're talking about fumes and candles. 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 Let me blow your mind one more time, please. Okay, I have made certain choices. I have learned a couple of 100,000 words. I can also choose to just make a short video. On fumes and can. Wait, is that the one I was doing? Wait, is that the one I was doing? Is that the one I was doing? I think it has been. I'm going to start doing crochet again, by the way. I was really sure I was going to do crochet again. What? No, that's not what I wanted to say. We're talking about fumes and candles, which is a very simple topic for me. Right? I mean, nothing replaces a nice, clean wipe. I'm already waiting until I can wet wipe my apartment again, because I have the feeling it's super necessary. Also, talking about sexual kung fu, talking about the inner fire, talking about why the certified health nut bleaches his teeth. I mean, they're supposed to be yellow. I mean, I had some kind of respect for that guy. But when I saw the latest recording, or one of the latest, and his teeth were so super white, I just thought, yeah, I lost all my respect for you. I'm just saying. I mean, you could say everyone's struggling, but that's just a bit too much. You know what that means? That means he spends an awful lot of time looking into the mirror. Right? Giving himself pretty eyes, checking how his teeth look like. You know, the way we're trying to navigate is by feeling, by emotion. So yeah, sure, there's things like AI. Sure, there's things like robots. But in what reality? Right? I simply don't sit around and worry about these things. I simply keep on growing myself, make new experiences, right? Learn how to hike. Well, today I thought I wanted to hike, but I never managed to leave the house. And that's what I find really confusing. Like, why could I not just go and hike today? Well, beats me. I know that I finished with my art at the moment, possibly for a very long time. And now I have to like unplug it like a leech. Or have the giant tick of Instagram kind of like fall off, because to me it's just like a memoir, right? It's supposed to be like a diary. And what I feel now is I feel drawn into making music and into writing books. Well, I've been saying that for some time, but I actually had to get there. Because I cannot keep doing everything all the time. I have been doing a lot of Instagram until I got to a point where I could no longer like draw myself in the future. Now I have to get to that, to actually implement it, right? This includes the completely eradicating the option of watching porn, and that includes, but that's the thing, it does not include not sharpening the sword. You can do that. I see no problem with it, because what does it do? It hardens your penis for a woman. In that sense, it seems to be part of the work that a man may have to do. Because I have had problems since a child with peeing the bed, wetting the bed, and then later with women of coming too early. So one part of hardening seems to be also hardening that, so that energy naturally flows also in here and doesn't try to leak out all the time. I've been clearly getting better at breath. I have almost no anxiety attacks anymore, I believe. I simply try to channel as much as I can. I pick up on certain shifts, like energy shifts. Sometimes I need to do some kind of cleansing. Sometimes I feel like I need to go to the shops. Sometimes I feel like, there's things I cannot explain. I finished with the refurbishing of the garden furniture. I put it up, but I also placed rain cover on top, because it's an outside furniture, I mean, it doesn't have to sit there and weather away, because it's supposed to be for days when we actually need this. So I'll keep it covered unless we actually use it. Which may be a bummer for people who think they can look upon it every day. But to me, it's more like a well-kept secret. And I think that's for anyone who's supporting what I'm doing, I think a lot of people actually keep that to a secret, right? Plus, the really important things travel through spirit anyway, because they are too complex to express. I mean, I'm still expressing. Okay, is there anything I need to shop? I have food, I have cheese, I have a chicken in the fridge that is about to defreeze. I still have enough mayonnaise for one meal. The way it looks like, I'm probably going to eat it here, the chicken, because it's too much at the moment. Right? I have been trying to lift something. I have been trying to lift something because I was sick of being alone. But what I realized is that at this point it's impossible. I mean, there will be there will be like milestones at certain points in my life. But for now, because what you cannot forget is that in a sense, my mind is drawn into visions of the future. And sometimes I cannot say what is the now and what is the future. And talking about it just annoys me, because I have to look at what is now and then there's nothing. And then sometimes I make appointments with people and then nobody's there. I'm sorry, I just have to talk about these things. Right? Sometimes I make appointments with people and we actually do play frisbee and we do all kinds of things. And then I ask them to join me for a barbecue and nobody shows up, and I feel like, what is this? I mean, what is this? Is this the future? Is this myself making up companions? I mean, I have been playing frisbee, right? I mean, I have the frisbee. I know it's there. Why did nobody show up? If I make a point out of it, so I cannot make a point out of it. I just have to let it slide, act like nothing happened. I just jump realities or something. Who cares, man? Okay, fumes and candles. First of all, if we talk about fumes and candles, what spray? Yeah, that's kind of the lead over. Okay, so look at this. This is incense, the stuff you usually buy, like Nakchampa. You see all of this? This is like dust. This is the stuff that fell, but then there's also the stuff that's in the smoke. Well, I have realized from the ventilator or the fan of my laptop that this stuff clogs up the ventilator of my laptop. And so does also if you smoke like resin. You know, some people, they have these smudge sticks, and then some people have like, they burn resin and then they walk around their apartment and they do this, you know, to purify. I mean, if you think it's dirty, just clean everything, man. I mean, you cannot. Because I've tried these things, I have been burning a lot of resin in my apartment at some point. Right, I was buying this resin and I spent lots of money on resin. And then I was smoking it and I was like super anxious about, you know, clean energy. And then everything started to become very sticky, even the plants, because the resin, you burn it, it goes into the air, and then it settles. And even my laptop had this fine layer of resin on top of it. And the plants had it, and every surface had it, right? So everywhere there was just resin. I mean, okay, if you do it once in a while because you like the smell, but don't do it for cleaning. Because what you do for cleaning is you take a bucket, you take a cloth, and then you clean everything. Because, let's say, if I would constantly burn incense in here, I do so infrequently. If I feel like I'll have a special night, I'll put on some incense. But if you're every day, you know, some people have these vaporizers and then they buy these, like these essential oils, right? Let's just do these, like, let's just include some, oh wow, standing exercises. You know, they have these vaporizers and they buy these little bottles, like really expensive oil, like clove oil and vanilla oil and rose oil. And you pay 200 euros for like a little bottle. And then you know what I say to that? Bullshit. Bullshit, man. I mean, you want to have cloves? I mean, you just buy some cloves, or you just, I don't know how you make cloves yourself. You just buy some cloves, and then you just cook food with it. Because you have to eat anyway. So what's the point of buying like 50 euro oil? It's unnecessary. Plus it's some kind of like, it's a distortion, because it doesn't smell like that. I mean, okay, if you do it infrequently, for special occasions, I have no problem with it. But to assume that you can like cleanse your auras with it? I mean, I've had women, especially once, and she had all these oils, and every time she had like an anxiety attack, she just took these oils and she just like did this, but nothing happened. She stayed completely the same. Because she thought the oils would do it for her, but what the oils do is, it's like a masquerade. She was trying to mask her aura because she thought probably she was dirty or there was something wrong with her, but that was her issue. You know, I had no problem with her. I quite like her. But she was always trying to mask herself, but I could see still right through it. And she never got it, right? She tried to wiggle out of all kinds of situations. And so I simply told her that she's a phony, that she actually has no idea what she's talking about, and that she's just using these oils to like cloud herself, put a veil over her, so that she thinks then nobody can see her or something. I don't know, man. So I don't quite like this. Because if I'm masking the stench in my apartment by constantly having these vaporizers turned on, and then some kind of like essential oil coming out of this, then I cannot smell. You know, I cannot smell if there's somewhere a stench. Because if there's a stench, then these vaporizers won't do much. Because then what I have to do is right? I mean, what I can see is that you take the cleaning water, right? You clean water, you take water, and then you put a drop of this essential oil in there, and maybe a bit of soap, and then you clean with the oil, and you can do that once a week, once every 2 weeks, once every full moon. I don't know, man. Maybe that should be a good one. I need some kind of structure in my life. I have no structure. I never know what I'm gonna do. Just like now, I thought I was going hiking, and now I stayed. What's the meaning of this? I mean, I was so fixed on I'm gonna go hiking. I was like preparing myself, and then I couldn't leave. I just couldn't leave. I just couldn't get myself to leave. I just kept on sleeping. Just kept on sleeping. You know, I can say I was working on my sexual kung fu. Yeah, it is true. Semen retention is an actual yogic practice. And what we call masturbation is just, I mean, this is a body. If I can sharpen my hands, right, then I can also sharpen my sword. Just like women do specific exercises where they train these muscles down there, right, so that under pressure, right, the energy is still flowing. I don't know, I feel like I could leave and go somewhere now. But I'm probably gonna just sit it out and wait. But I feel like something has to change. I keep feeling that. Something needs to change, something has to happen. I cannot do this on my own any longer. There's just, I am lacking a certain direction. I'm just tapping around in the dark, just working off content like it's that important. And it's annoying, to say the least. I mean, I feel relatively good. I feel like it's okay, but this is like, there needs to be more in my life. There needs to be something else in my life than just, you know, running from my bed to the computer and then suddenly go outside. I mean, why are there certain times where I can be outside and then there are times where I have to be inside? Well, these things are impossible to answer. But if you feel like staying inside, then stay inside and start cleaning. Start sorting out your things. Because this is a part of yourself. This is a part of myself. It's an extension of myself. It's an extension of myself. Which means that everything that I have inside of this is something that represents something in myself. So there are, let's say, these Harry Dresden books. I don't like this, but I do, because in a way I'm dealing with voodoo. And then there's this book, Der Schwarm, from Frank Schätzing, The Swarm or something. It's German, originally German. And it's about nature fighting back. I find that book is important. And then there are other books which I have bought, but I never read them, or I tried reading them, but then I stopped. Because I just see the information the book is holding and I can look through it. And so if you go and take a candle, like one of these things, and you burn it, you can smell, right? You can smell that whatever here is burning, it's never 100%. There's always something. And something's coming off, right? Something's like shh. And you can smell it. Well, if you can smell it, that means you're going to inhale it. And then you're going to ask yourself, is that natural? And so if you put on incense, you have to ask yourself, is that natural? Well, if it comes to these essential oils, where one little bottle of rose oil costs 200 euros, well, you have to ask yourself, cost effect. Cost effect. 200 euros. It's a waste of time. It's a waste of energy. It's a waste of roses. Because you could just have your roses down in your garden and then take them whenever you need it and do it yourself. And that's a clear criticism on people who sell products and act like that's what we need. Because we don't need more products, we need to simplify. But I'm also drinking tea that comes from somewhere else. So maybe I just have to get used to these things. But not so sure about that one. Okay, apart from that, fumes and candles, of course, car exhaust. So question, how concerned do you have to be about car exhaust? Well, I'd say very concerned. To the degree of, I'll try to spend more time in nature. You know, that's always what I'm going to tell you, right? To spend more time in nature, which I think is a good idea. So it's really hard to transition. I mean, from the moment you, let's say, hear me talk about fumes and candles, to the moment where you actually say, I feel good about not using this kind of incense every day anymore. Because what incense is supposed to be, it's just supposed to be an aid to hold your consciousness. It's something to focus on, right? But you can focus on the smell of your apartment. What do I smell in here? I mean, my nose, my nostrils, they were burned because they were always swollen. Probably from all the bullshit and from all the toxins I had in my body. I have healed my nostrils to a certain degree. Yeah, I don't actually think, I don't know, man. Whatever, it doesn't matter. Sometimes you just have to accept certain things. And then, I don't know, man. Let go of others. It's hard to say. It's too complicated. You have to make choices. That's the answer. You have to make choices. I mean, spend a month in nature and then go back to society and then tell me if this is healthy. Car exhaust, like air from air conditioning, perfume, deo. No wonder everyone's so asthmatic. And then they just market it well, right? Your lungs are clogged because you never breathe. I mean, how much slime comes out of my lungs? That is clearly unnatural. And that's a symptom of all of this, right? It's the candles, it's the fumes. And then what's energy? Well, cleansing is going to take a lot of time, a lot of patience, and clearly the mentality of a warrior, which is what I have been trying to express in this book I have written, which is called Mentality of a Warrior. It took me a while to get there, because all I saw was broken men, broken women, and weaklings, because that's what happens if you leave everything up to machines. And now they want to have like AI robots, that can do this. How amazing. Why not do it yourself? Because it's hard. Yeah, no shit. Rather pride yourself of having a robot do that than to just actually do it yourself. I mean, that to me is also part of transitioning, right? I mean, to get this body to do what it's actually supposed to do, and to get it to do what it would have done if I would have been brought up in nature, or closer to nature, I wouldn't have had to put in this much work. I wouldn't have had to do all this cleansing if the environment I grew up in wasn't as dirty and all the behaviors were as toxic, right? So, what an accomplishment. Mass production, leave it up to machines. Now I can stand here, record myself, and then go to the fridge and stuff myself, and then I'm so full that I'm gonna sleep. What a life. That's the life that we have been living for a very long time. And I'm just trying to slowly but surely, like skipping stones, I'm trying to sink back to the bottom and then get comfortable there. I mean, imagine the journey of skipping stones, right? The stone was on the shore, it came from the ocean, it landed on the shore, somehow it got there. And then somebody comes and skips it, ping, 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 and then it's like, wow! And then the journey to the deepest depth. I mean, it's amazing. Just imagine you be that. You can imagine in your mind. You can imagine in your mind that you're a stone sinking all the way to the bottom. This is more content. I think I'm going to create content like this. Makes no sense, but I can do that, right? I can take an image of a stone and I can cut around it, and then I can have it move like this, and I can make sounds, and then I can just tell a story. Could even put a fish in there that moves through it. Yeah. But that takes a lot of devotion, that takes a lot of time, patience, right? I have to have the energy available. I have to sit down with myself and actually do it, which is a really hard part. But at some stage you're sick of recording yourself holding planks, and then you say, well, what else am I gonna do? Wow, there's something in my left foot. You know, I don't sometimes know what's happening. I just know I'm energy. I'm some kind of energy. And right now I feel good. If somebody would come in here now, what would they see? I often ask myself, what would they see? You know, what would they be in comparison to me? Let's say you take the dirtiest street heroin junkie, and he's just sitting in a puddle of his own piss. He just shat himself for the 5th time that day. And then somebody comes and just puts him there. And then he opens the door and he looks at me. What would he see? What would I see? Myself? Would I see myself, or would I say, stay away? I mean, there's a reason I don't invite people into here. But why not? I mean, I like it here, it's clean. If they'd be in here, they'd start defiling things. You know, they'd look at this and they'd say, this is so ugly. And I'd have to deal with that. You know, they like smear it with their dirty thoughts. And that's true. Which is why this is very personal. And I don't like people barging into here. Because in a way, yes, this is my mind. But I'm being told I'm living here in this belongs to this country, right? They owe it. It's theirs. You have to pay tax. You have to do this. You have to do that. You know? Like, let's say I'd be switching to oil lamps. Well, oil, you're still in an apartment, and oil still gives up fumes. Well, are you going to realize what it's doing to you before it is already doing it? Because usually the way it's happening, it's like a bit more, it's like creeping into your mind, right? And then what? I don't know, man. What's the consequence of burning oil lanterns? I mean, you do it once, it's probably all right. Do you need light at night? I mean, what's the consequence of using electricity? Does that emanate something? You know, what about the radiation? I mean, there's electricity, there's electricity, there's electricity. This whole thing is wired with electricity. What's the impact on my emotional or spiritual well-being if I'm surrounded by all things that are radiating stuff? You know, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, you know, that kind of stuff. This is like, you know, I'm supposed to be radiating stuff, and then I take things, I put them here, and they radiate stuff. It's taking over your mind, man. I mean, that's how propaganda works. I'm just saying, this is how it works. Propaganda. Yeah, I'm saying it on purpose like that, so it cannot be picked up on. I know, I just went through some intense stuff, and now I'm thinking what to do with myself, because I just broke through to something. I have rejected going to parks, wasting time. And so I am subjecting myself to the subject of getting back to writing books. So I'm making like a standing, right? I'm turning this into headquarters or whatever. You know, a revolution revolves around, you know, beings that would like to change something. Because the direction of replacing things that people were doing with robots is no direction I would like to follow. To me, it's like, that's a death trap. I mean, what I see is like, we as human beings, we should be active in the community. We should be channeling energy. We could be working towards things. We could be doing stuff. But if I go out in the streets and I'm like this, hey, let's change for the better. People are like, boo, what are you doing here? You're not supposed to be here. How did you survive? It's like, what are you talking about? Aren't we all the same? Aren't we all the same? Isn't that, you know, the teachings of early schooling? We're all the same. Zip, you know? Oh, you're trying to grow? Zip, you know? You're trying to grow? Zip. It's like, hey, I grew anyway. How did he manage that? You know, we tried to hammer him into the ground and he's like, bam, you know? Like a bamboo shoot. No, actually more like an oak tree. So I'm a spirit, and you're a spirit, and you were made believe that you're something else. I'm like a pattern of energy. And so my pattern may be different than yours, right? If I move, you know, this is a focus exercise. You know, I do this. Wow, I feel so clean, I just had a bath, man. You know, I just fill the whole bathtub with water. You know, I did it like Luke, like warm. I felt like I need some warmth. And I use the water afterwards to flush the toilet, which I really like. Otherwise, it would just be a waste. And then I go in there and I just leave my nose and mouth, I just leave it out. But the rest is kind of under. Well, I cannot stand my feet getting wet because it kind of dissipates the souls that I've been working on for years. Right? And so I'm underwater and then I just think, I think I'm a fish, man. I think I'm a fish, you know. I'm an Aquarius. Please bring me back to water, you know. I thought I was managing to just hike. You know, just hike every week. Instead of, you know, showering here, just hike every week. And then go swimming in that natural lake, which is actually unnatural, but it's a big lake. You know, what I'd really love was live next to the ocean. You know, I want to live next to the ocean. I love the ocean, but then a real ocean. You know, that's what I would love. To live next to the ocean. This is what I'm craving. I want to live next to the ocean so I can go swimming every day. But kind of I'm here, right? I don't know, man. I haven't really given up on. This just feels dead. And maybe I just have to wait, but it feels dead. Nothing's happening. My invitations just go down the drain, right? It's just empty. So either something's gonna populate my space, like this woman, or I don't know, man. Maybe I just have to keep standing here, keep crying into my creation, instead of moping about being alone and just see the opportunity, right? So I've just been doing some replanting. I gave that one a bit more space. I'm trying to grow some apricot seeds. You know, I just want to see what's happening. These are apricot seeds. I want to see if they're going to start sprouting. Ah, yes! I don't know, I think I need some apple juice. This is a bit of like a cannabis plant. But I always have this problem of all these flies in the soil. And then they just start breeding, they just get more and more, but I have to keep it moist, right? So what else am I supposed to do? Now I just feel like chucking it out again. Or just put it outside. But I tried putting it outside and kind of just burned. Maybe I just have to water it less. But if I water it any less, then... I mean, I thought I have to water it every day. Maybe it has to get used to the new pot. I'll just not water it tomorrow. I don't know. I have no experience with this. But I'm just gonna keep it and see how it's going to do. So to me, it's a major challenge to keep plants alive. But I know it's possible in a way. You simply have to keep channeling energy. So if I stand here and I spend a lot of time meditating and standing here and being a pillar, then I am sure that something is going to happen at some point. But I also just made a choice. I turned my phone into flight mode again. Because there are too many things. You know, I'm always checking my content. Have I received an email? I should set myself a fixed date. I should set myself a fixed date. A fixed day in the week where I check my emails and stuff. Otherwise, I'm just constantly checking it. How about like every Monday? You know, I know about these things. I just was reluctant to do it until now. How about every Monday? You know, take out the edge a little. I think I'm gonna go down and get some apple mousse that I prepared some weeks ago. I think that could be good. I don't know, man. It's just so complicated. Every time I want to do something, I feel I need something to do it. How much should I move? I turned off my doorbell. Okay, I think I'm gonna work on my computer. I still have one shot of instant coffee. I mean, I feel relatively good. I just smeared my hair with, this is something I prepared. It's beeswax and coconut fat. You know, I just put a bit, what's a bit? Because I felt like my hair was a bit dry. And it's, right, but of course it gives your hair a bit like a moist look. But if I now would go into the sun, right, it would go into it. Okay. Question, am I gonna stay inside or get the apple mousse? I could also forget the apple mousse. I feel like if I drink a coffee, I'll just fall asleep. I have proper food though. I think I'll keep the apple mousse for later. Because I actually made it for winter. I want to see if it's gonna last. I think this is super exciting. You know, and maybe I'm preparing myself for a fast. I feel good right now. I have done a lot of training, a lot of workout, but most of it is emotional. But because I've done a lot of hardening, all these emotions cannot impact me so much anymore. And I just say, hey, you're on your own. You know, you can try to keep pulling me to be where you think I ought to be. But I'm just focusing on learning Qigong just by doing it. No, I don't have to watch anything about it. I just have to do Qigong. Just by feeling. I don't know what's happening then. So yeah, fumes and candles, right? Fumes and candles. 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 All right. Cheers.